smooth as can be. Look at this thing. Looks like it's running pretty smooth to me. People said that it would be bouncing all over the place. Look how smooth that is on grass. Now, definitely just like cleats in dirt, like this dirt here, it's going to be a little rougher, as you can see. Look at the tracks it's leaving. And then definitely on the sidewalk, it's going to be rough. I let off way early because I hit something. I let off way early because I hit something. That's what I thought. We lost a cleat. That was the one I accidentally busted through. So there's a cleat out there with a washer on it. I could have swore I heard something come off, and that's the one I put the washer on because I nicked it. So it pulled out of the rim. So I'll have to fix that. All right, welcome back. So today we are on my broken rim. Now, I've already fixed it. I did it off camera. So what I ended up doing was the one that ripped out was the one next to the spoke right here. So when I was drilling, well, dremeling sideways right here to get this nut underneath this spoke, remember the spoke was like this, so I was dremeling from the side right here. I was using a sanding disc that had a point on it, and I was pushing to the side, and then I'll come in from this way and push the other way, and then I'll open up this area. That's how I was doing all the spokes. This was the last ram. I was pushing through the side here, and I didn't see it breaking through over here, so I kept pushing harder and harder. Turns out I was pushing down instead of to the side, and I actually broke through the rim, and I left a gaping hole right next to where the cleat goes. Now the cleat's not in here because I don't want to damage the thread, so there's just a small hole, and when you start dremeling, all the material kind of fills up over the hole, so you kind of lose your place, so you got to clean it, dremel, or sand. So I ended up switching to a cutting tip, which worked much better because then it wouldn't dremel through the rim. Just had a small cutting blade at the tip, so the shaft of the cutting or the dremel would just barely go through these things, and then what I was doing was just drawing a line at the base with that tip and then doing the same on the other side, so I knew where to stop, and then I was actually pushing up instead of down, and that solved my problem. But I had already damaged this rim, so I figured just add a washer, pretty good size washer, and that should hold it. Well, in yesterday's run, you guys saw it didn't handle it. It literally pulled out. Now I'm going to pop out one of these other cleats. I'm going to show you what's going on. This rim, like I've explained, is a lot stiffer compared to the original ones, which are really soft, and this adds a lot of cushion when going over the rough ground by it flexing like this. Now because it's rotating so fast, the cleats are trying to pull out, so it keeps the rim kind of round, if not expanding the rim, is what I found with these, which work really good. And in checking these, none of these cleats are pulling through. Now these are plastic cleats. These are a little bit heavier, a little bit more stout. That's all Dick's Sporting Goods had, was enough of these. They didn't have enough of these plastic cleats. So I decided, well, a little bit more weight on, unsprung weight should be good. So I'm going to pop out one of these cleats and show you what's going on. Now, just like I thought, and the reason I got the balancing tool on this is, you would think where I put the plate would be the heavy side, and it is down, but it's off to the side here. So I'm going to try to balance this thing out, but before I do that, I have a feeling I'm going to have to add some washers to these cleats. Now we'll pick one on the opposite side from the cleat that came off. I'm going to take one of these cleats off. Remember, this is all experimental stuff, and Traxxas's plastic is definitely different than the Proline soft plastic. And you'd think the soft plastic you would have to worry more about a cleat pulling out, but I think it's the overall size of this. I don't know if it's giving it more centrifugal force. You think a smaller one would give it more centrifugal force at the same RPM. But I'm pulling out the cleat. I want to show you what's going on. So I don't know how clear this is, but you can see there's a big bump right here where the nut on the backside is literally trying to pull through the rim. And all of the cleats are like this now. What I did notice about these cleats is that they are concave like this. So I don't know if it's better. I think it might be better if I throw a washer underneath these things and then a washer on the other side, because just sticking a washer over here, it's still going to, because this cleat where the screw goes, where the nut goes, I think what's happening is when I'm tightening these things down, the nut is sinking into the plastic, but it's also trying to pull through because of this cleat. So I'm kind of curious now what to do about this plastic. I'm going to throw a washer on this side. I don't think I have enough washers to get all the wheels done, honestly. I'm probably going to have to go down. And fixing this wheel, I made a template like this. This is sheet metal aluminum. It's a lightweight plate, basically. So I cut this out of, I think, this side and started to make the template. Then I realized where I cut this slot for the second spoke was too far, so I ended up having to make another plate slightly bigger, because when it starts to curve, the plate actually gets shorter, and I was missing one of the screws. And I figure if I connect all 4 cleats to this one area, it'll really strengthen where this one cleat is that has a hole underneath it. And this plate did wonders, honestly. It'd be kind of cool if I just plate the whole inside, is the way I started looking at it. But I don't have time to sit there. I mean, I have a... Yeah, I don't have enough cleat washers, but I do want to see how this one acts, putting double washers on it. It's funny, the first set of rims didn't really do this. See, that washer's too small. And with that cleat, try a smaller washer, I guess, on the inside. That's too big. Yep. So running those small washers, the nut no longer pushes in like this. These are pushing in, and I think it was from me tightening it, not them trying to pull out. So I honestly think I'm just worried about them starting to fling at a certain RPM. Because this plastic is a little different than the last set of wheels that I put together. These big washers are definitely too big. Smaller ones seem to be perfect. We'll take a look under this cleat and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera, but you can see the big bump to where the plastic is pushing into the cleat. And you have to make it tight, because if you don't, then it's 100% gonna come loose and pull out, is the way I look at it. It could be wrong. Yeah, it's just such a big, something to do with this style cleat, because the other ones weren't concave like that. Probably a different type of shoe. But definitely adding this little tiny washer to both sides is really giving the cleat some clamping force. To where this nut is not sinking into the plastic. With all that said, I don't know if I should run it one more time before I get the washers all installed, or should I go with it? I mean, honestly, if you look at these, see, these sunk in as well. And I just chalked it up to the soft plastic. All these nuts sunk in. But then I had that one fling out, and it's got me kind of concerned. I think I'm overthinking it now, but we're gonna go ahead and balance this one out. I'm going to try to do it without adding a plate to the other side, because I really want to get out there and run it. So hopefully the lead weight is enough. Just want to see where exactly I need to throw this weight, and if I already have weight over there. See, I have weight right there. And I said this before, definitely don't add weight in two separate spots. Keep adding weight to the same spot and you'll get a better result than trying to spread weight all over this wheel. If I spread weight all over this wheel, it's just going to make a bad vibration. There we go. Get some tape over that so it doesn't fling off. And I did order another set of wheels. Be about a week to get here, because I'm going to build a spare, so when I'm running, if something happens to one of them, I could just switch out the wheel. Man, that's still a lot of vibration. Yeah, that's... I can feel the weight of this. So I think what I'm going to have to do is build another plate. I can even probably use this plate, this template plate. I would have to go right about here. So this bend would have to go the other way now. So all I would have to do is extend this one cut. Even with that one, I can slip it in and bolt it there, which would be opposite from the plate. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to check balance on this thing, see if it gets any better. All right, so what I've done is I've plated this side, and 180 degrees I went ahead and plated this side. So now I've got a plate balancing out this wheel. We're going to go ahead and check and see what is the heavy side. And the strangest thing is I have one plate over here and one plate over here. None of the plates seem to be directly at the bottom and top, which is kind of interesting. So here's my light side, and I also did pull off all the weight before doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this so I know what is the light side. So I'm just marking the cleat that is up. So that cleat is directly up. Now we can't put weight directly in that, but we can go off to the side right in here. Some of the weight see if that'll work. Well, that worked out perfect. 2 strips. and we're at 3 o'clock. So if you notice, 3 o'clock is where our weight wants to stop. So that's let me know that this is balanced out perfect now. So I'm going to throw some tape over it so it doesn't fling. There we go. No more vibration. My hand's steady now. So adding a plate to the other side literally balanced it out. Nice and balanced now. Even though it looks like it's wobbling, it's nice and steady. Impressive. But by adding all this weight to this wheel, this is a pretty heavy wheel compared to the rest of them. So I'm hoping that's not going to bite me in the butt and strip out the hex. Just checking all the other wheels. Well, hopefully that patch job works. And I'm going to go ahead and rip it without adding a bunch of washers to it. But if I have another cleat fly out, then at that point I'm going to have to take these wheels all apart and put washers on both sides of the cleat. And at, what is it, 32? Because it's 8 and 8 is 16, 6 is 12. Yeah, 32 washers per wheel. That's a lot of washers to add to a set. Now, the wheel that I did the plate repair on, 8 of them, so I won't need 16 washers on that one. So I can take the total minus 16 washers, and that's what I'd need to purchase, because I don't have enough of them in my kit to do the rest of these wheels, or I'd do it now. But I'm tired of building the wheels. I want to get out and run this thing. I want to be able to go full trigger. I want to see what's going on. But comment below, what do you think? Do you think the patch is going to work? Do you think it's going to hold up? Do you think that was the right thing to do, is put a plate on one side and then, of course, opposite from that, add the other plate? Seems like a good way. I mean, honestly, what I'd love to do is build a thin plate all the way around on each of the wheels rather than use washers, and that'll ensure that these will not break. But to build it would basically either 4 small plates or one continuous plate that's cut out for all the spokes to slip in. Seems like a lot of work, but I believe in these cleats that much that I'm going to put in what it takes to try to make them work, because the not ballooning of the front wheels is really keeping the front end down, and it seems to be wanting to go faster. If you look at the second run, when the cleat came off, I was pulling that trigger really hard off the get-go, and right before that cleat popped, and the RC didn't wheelie. It was staying planet, it was going straight, it was ripping. As soon as I heard the pop, I let off. It looked like the front had hit something. That's why I thought it hit the pine cone, but the front popped up about 3.5 inches. So, I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Cleat-us wheels, version 2, round 2, coming up. Thanks for watching.